And for those of you who may not know me, my name is Bob Wagner, and April and I will be your host tonight. But we got a lot of things to talk about with you. But first and foremost, happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you had as much fun or more fun than we did. When the holiday comes out on a Tuesday and people are looking to start the weekend on Friday, it ends up being about a 5 or a 6 day weekend is kind of how it works out. And you know what? We need that every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. And, if you're doing your business the right way and you're being social with people and you're getting out there amongst people, it's better. Okay. Cause you're just getting out around people and, we get the opportunity to share what we have with people, and whether it's the product or the business or the lifestyle or whatever it might be that that may appeal to somebody. So anyway, I hope you guys had a great weekend. We're into the summer now. It really started in June, but July 4th is really the official time. And I think it's really important that we keep our business on our minds. It's kind of like you've heard the American Express card, you never leave home without it. You got to make sure your business hat is on at all times, especially in the summer. Don't go anywhere without it. And I mean, if you printed the postcards that a lot of us use to hand out, don't ever go anywhere without them. Okay. Because you never know when you're going to meet that person. We always have it on our mind. And, I couldn't imagine meeting somebody and not letting them know what we do, and I was saying this the other night. I was doing a call for Holly and Brian Highfield, and you have to care enough about people that you're willing to let them know what you have. Okay. And I don't mean, just spew it all over them. I don't mean being obnoxious. I mean, caring enough to let them know that you have something that, that might be able to help them. That's all I'm talking about. And, a lot of different parts of the country, here in Florida, we have 12 months of summer. So honestly, the summer is not as big a deal in Florida other than the vacationing folks coming down, because we have summer all the time. Okay. It's always summer. But in other parts of the country where you can have some extended winters, you can be cooped up a little bit more in certain areas than other areas. And you want to take advantage when everybody's out. Okay. I'm going to share something with you. I don't know if Kim is on here yet, but I think Kenneth just got on. Is April on, Kenneth?
I saw Kenneth come in. Yeah, he's on the second page.
They did something really cool. It was Kim Lee's idea. It was in Chicago, and NASCAR was having their first event in Chicago. And they were doing a street race. And I like racing. Okay. So a street race means just what it says. They were racing on the street. Okay. It wasn't a track. Okay. And they were racing around Chicago, a 2.5 mile route, we'll call it. And Kim and one of Kim's associates lived their businesses, and they lived in a building that was on the route. So on July 1st, Saturday, they did an event. Okay. They invited people to come over and watch the race. And they did, a collagen sip and glow. They did, and Kenneth flew in from Florida to do the meeting, and Catalina was there as a doctor. Kim was the host of it, and it went great. Okay. And they signed up consultants, they signed up customers. Don't be afraid to put your creative hat on when there's events and things going on. And that was the whole idea of the postcards to begin with, that you don't have to get into a long-winded conversation with people when you first meet them, but at least use the postcard as your calling card where you can leave something with them. Okay. And, you know, we're doing a lot of advertising now. It's really starting to crank up locally here in Florida, what we're doing. And as we gather the leads, we're going to create an event to invite them to. Okay, probably about a month from now. But right now we're collecting phone numbers and emails and texting them and emailing them and developing a rapport with them. So when we invite them somewhere to come try a free sample, they won't feel so cold. Like it won't feel like it's totally cold market because they'll have been texting and emailing going back and forth. So just keep in mind, you're going to have a lot of opportunity to be out in the summertime around people, sporting events, concerts, barbecues, beaches, lakes, all kinds of different stuff. And always have your business hat on. Okay. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean be in attack mode. I mean be in attract mode. Make sure you're looking to attract people to what you have. Okay. And I'm telling you, it could be July and August could be your two biggest months of the year if you take advantage of the outside activity. Okay. You know, you'll hear me say something similar between Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, that stretch, if you'll take advantage of your indoor activities. Okay, because there's a lot of parties, there's a lot of dinners, there's a lot of holiday stuff that's indoor. Well, now we're outdoor. Okay, and it's the same thing except we're outdoor. So have your business hat on, and congratulations to the folks in Chicago for being creative and having an event during a NASCAR race. Okay. It's like, I'm not sure I ever would have dreamed something like that up, you know, and we live near Daytona Speedway. Okay. And I'm not sure we ever would have done that, but I think that was really awesome. And I love the fact that people already enrolled during the 4th of July weekend. They're already enrolled in the business because of that event. I think I mentioned last week that Kenneth was getting very close to being triple diamond. Well, give him a hand because he made it. He was triple diamond, okay, for last month and is off to a fabulous start. And I was just looking at Catalina's numbers and I see her on the screen and she got real close to double diamond. So Catalina, I'm just kind of throwing that out there this month that double diamond is on the board for you for July. Okay. You were close. You were only a few hundred away. So you were very close to it. Okay. 2 other things. And then April's going to do a training. If you haven't registered for the July 22nd virtual event, you know, that is Saturday. Okay. July 22nd. And it's going to be 3 or 4 hours. That would be a great opportunity for you to get with prospects, teammates, customers, and do a watch party. Okay. And watch it together with your team, watch it together with a group of people, you know, make a brunch out of it or make a lunch out of it, something like that. Do something social. Why? And you know, they're going to announce something new. They always do. Okay. I don't know what it is, but they will. Okay. There's always going to be something that they announce when they do one of these big virtual events. So don't forget to register for that. And the day before, a lot of people are doing events the Friday, the 21st, because that's when we're ringing the bell on the NASDAQ. Okay. And some people are having some events around that too. So just keep those things in mind. You know, congratulations on another really good month. And we get our 31 days back in July. I always hate when it's 30 days because we're generally good for like 15,000 or so on the last day of the month. And I hate when they take the last day of the month away. You know, everything could be going fine. And then you're looking like, ooh, we missed that last day. We need to move it up a little bit. But anyway, April.
How's everybody doing? I hope you had a happy 4th, good, safe weekend. I'm real excited. You know, it's funny what Bobby was saying in a nutshell. Anything you can do to have fun and incorporate your business in is a home run. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. People have enough to-dos with their family, with their jobs, with their businesses, that, you want to have fun and just incorporate what we're doing. But I'm kind of excited today, July 5th, this is really like the first day of the rest of the year. We've got another 6 months. I don't know what your first 6 months would be like. One of the things that I think that is so important in this business is that we figure out us, and what makes us work. And I can tell you, for me and Bobby, it's very, very different. And the thing I do know is if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards in this business. There is no staying status quo. It just doesn't happen. So, if you're not moving forward, things are going to start slipping backwards. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than others. But, we've said this time and time again, the main thing that gets kind of out of whack is you. I mean, you just don't become as precise in talking to people and stuff. And, that's when those thoughts of, kind of like quitting come in mind, because you're not being productive. So you kind of get frustrated with yourself and stuff. So, I don't want anybody to quit on their dreams. So in order to be not sliding backwards, we need to be proactive with our goals, with our why and stuff. And like I said, this is different for how people do, but the biggest trait you can have as a business owner, and think about, what do you think the biggest trait is? It's kind of a funny thing. The biggest trait you can have as a business owner is to be a dreamer, is to dream about where you want to go, what it is you want. And sometimes I think, we are so busy with our day-to-day activities that we don't take the time to think about what it is we really want, or what, picture what we want our lifestyle to look like. We're just doing and we're doing reach outs, and we're not really connecting anymore, because, you've heard it's all in the daily things we do. It's not the results of those, but it is kind of, because you have to feel the business. You have to appreciate the business. And for all that's different. And, in our journey in 31 years, it has changed dramatically. In the beginning, it was, in order just to replace, Bobby's income was really very much our goal. But, even as the kids have gone out of the house, everything has changed. So, one of the things that you can do is figure out what you want, but figure out how to get it. And for each of us, it's going to be different. I think back to the days where, we had a lot of doctors in the business. We ran a doctor's program, and it's probably the easiest example, but you'd have to figure it out in your life. How can you get back time? Because I think time is probably the most important thing. How can we get back time in our schedule? And for us, when we talked to the doctors initially, it was like, if we made this much money, they wouldn't maybe do rounds on Saturday, or they wouldn't do, something. They'd take back their Wednesday was a big thing back then, or, half a day on Friday or whatever. You need to figure out what it is, what your hot button is. So, like for me, one of the things that's been really cool is, I can set my schedule to play tennis when I want. Now, I have to be very mindful that I don't do it 5 days a week, 7 days a week, or something where I'm never working. And sometimes I'll even play earlier to make sure I get in. I'm very mindful of it, but I'm also very appreciative. When I'm out there playing, I always stop and say, this is so cool that I can not only have a career, but I can actually play tennis and set up my schedule and stuff. And, so that freedom, and I know even like today, I know Bobby said, did you see the what's going on with Wimbledon and stuff, Djokovic match? And I didn't have it on, because today wasn't a day that I had time to be able to turn around and watch it. Even though the TV is literally right there, you don't take the time away from the focus you have on what you're doing. So, just being able to do that. But keep in mind, and this is a big one, and this is where, people get frustrated with their business. Maybe as you go into July, if you don't have that right mindset, it's easy to get frustrated with your business. So, how are you going to keep yourself, positive? I can tell you time and time again that we are all just one recruit away from making our business big, one recruit. And you need to keep that in mind, and you never know where that one is. And once you start to get past that first level of your own personal people, and you've heard me say this again, your second and third, that's where the magic happens. But sometimes in the beginning, we have to stick with people that maybe aren't what we exactly want in a recruit, but you'll get through that person and work through their people. And like I said, that one recruit, you have no idea what it does for your business, not only for you personally and how you talk, but that's what I love about the business. You just never know. And the doors, I mean, Bobby and I could spend the next 5 hours easily. I know at some point he's threatened to write a book on the doors that this kind of opportunity has opened up for us, the places we've been, the people that we've met, the things that we've gotten to do. But think about it, there really are, three different things, three different phases of almost what I call quitting in this business when I think about people. And, hopefully you're not in any of them, but you do know people that maybe just never get started because of what others say. We all know those, for every reason they should be doing the business, but they're not doing the business. Some people, and you probably have this in your business, take the first few steps. They sign up and then maybe they disappear. Well, some of that's on us because we didn't hang with them enough. We really need to get with them from the minute they sign up and just be in their ear, talking to them, keeping them positive, because there's nothing like that roller coaster in the beginning. I mean, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And then we have a group of people that are paralyzed by learning. They're learning, but they're never moving forward. They're not implementing, I should say, in what they're learning. They're just on every company Zoom. And you've heard me say this before. If you've only got 10, 20 hours a week, you can't be on every company Zoom. So if you see that, Tuesday Momentum is something that you want to be on at it's 5 o'clock for me. If that's something you really want to be on and you have the time that day, then go ahead and get on it. If you don't, it's no biggie. As long as you're taking action in your business, that's always going to be the more important thing. And then some just quit along the journey. And those are the saddest ones. And I think I told you about even like Niall Murray a couple of weeks ago, our sponsor, we did 110,000 that first year, quit on us because he didn't
we
see.
Earned 110.
We earned 100
millions.
But he quit on us. He quit on us right away. But you know what? That's because his sponsor didn't make sure his dreams weren't big enough, didn't figure out how to make his dreams bigger enough. And so, we really there's a few things that go on, but we need to watch who we talk to in this business, and you may be really good friends. Your best friend may be since your childhood, known them forever. But if they are, they have a poor mind and negative mind, that is not a person you want to be spending time with, because they're going to drag down a lot of what you're doing. And you want to make sure that you stay with, and even in this business, we've got people that, are always looking for the wrong. Maybe they're not being as successful they want. So they're going to look for what's wrong with the company instead of what's right. And we can all do a list of what's not going right, but we can't dwell there, because the one thing we do know is we have a really strong company with great products. We've got a great compensation plan, and they have always paid us on time, if not early, always. And you really can't ask for more than that in a business. I mean, we have everything going for us. So how do we figure us out? And this is what I really want you to think about. Spend some time thinking about what your ultimate day is going to look like, what your dream is, what your needs, your wants, because you don't want to be letting down your family at this point. You don't want to be letting down your spouse. You don't want to be known as a quitter. I mean, I just, and you've probably heard me say this before, and it's such a minor thing, but it seems like Bobby only asks me how my tennis match went the day I lose. When I lose a match, that's when he says, how did it go? And I'm like, don't ask today. I don't need to be reminded. When it's a really big win, it seems he never asked me that. So, but that should be important to you. What your kids think, what your spouse thinks, what other people think. You don't want to be known as a quitter, even among us. So we've got to figure ourselves out, and we're all very different. I can tell you, when I look at goal setting and I even hate that word goal setting, because some of us, it's going to need to be a daily goal setting. Some of us, it can be a weekly. Some of us can do 6 months. Some of us can do a year. In the beginning, I remember people would say 5 years. I totally disagree with that, because I don't think anybody can hang. We just don't have the power to stick with something for 5 years with not getting that instant gratification. I think we're all too much instant gratification. So you got to figure out, if you're that visual person and you need pictures up, you got to picture that car, the color inside seats. If you're that picture person, you need that house or that dream vacation. You need pictures. You got to visualize what you're doing. You may be a numbers person. Bobby's very much a number person. He would never do pictures, but he could do numbers. He could figure out, this is 10% growth, this is 20% growth, and that's his thing. You've heard him before. He keeps all the charts, knows all the numbers, so that's his thing. It may just simply be something, fear of loss. This is what I'm doing. I'm getting and there's a lot in our company that changed with this compensation plan because they weren't doing the daily stuff. They didn't have the customers. They only had one line. They didn't have those other lines. So it could be fear of loss of not keeping your income, which I know kept a lot of people really emotional as we were changing. Or maybe you're in a place where you're just not uncomfortable enough. Maybe there's some personal traits or some going out and talking to somebody, or, we all have chicken lists or whatever. Not being uncomfortable enough is another thing. Just make yourself uncomfortable. The one thing I do know about being uncomfortable is when you get through it, you're really excited. You're really glad that it's over. And it usually always turns out positive. It doesn't turn out negative. So, definitely go ahead and call that person that, you haven't been wanting to call, or work those hours. Uncomfortable could be like, if I decide I'm going to work till 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, and I know, Bobby'd rather have me downstairs watching TV, maybe that's uncomfortable, but we have to be uncomfortable so we can move forward. Or maybe if I don't play tennis for a few days because it's the end of the month and we've got a lot going on, do I like that? No. But me being uncomfortable for that time, or missing a birthday, or years ago, it used to be, we were always juggling the kids' schedules and birthdays and everything. So, missing that one event is not that bad, compared to the long-term goal that we're going to have. So, what I want you to really do is spend a little time sometime during this next week and sit down in a quiet place and figure out what it is you really want. And, if you've got to do numbers, you've got to do pictures, whatever your thing is, we're all a little bit different, where you're most uncomfortable, fear of loss, whatever your thing is, know what it is. And then, figure out how you're going to go about getting that. And that would be so important to your business, because ultimately we don't share goals the way we used to. If you remember, years ago, we started every Zoom with, or, whatever it was called back then, we started every meeting with our why. Well, people don't really care as much about our whys, but it does come out in that story when you're trying to recruit somebody. It does come out in that. And so if you know your direction and where you're going, you're going to share that story. You're going to kind of weave it in, and that is very powerful for the person thinking. So, again, so important that we go ahead and really just be dreamers. Dream where we're going, dream what we have, because it's just amazing what we do have our hands on. And sometimes in that day-to-day, drudgery or life that's going on, with everything that's going on between families and household chores and everything else, it gets kind of just mixed in there and forgotten. But the thing that excites us always is the auto ships that we are building with this company. And I know Bobby reminds me every month, auto ships went up. It's growing and growing. And that creates a huge repeat income for us. And that is super, super exciting. So I hope that's just, a little bit how I'm thinking about these. We've got 6 months. We can make this the best year yet. So you've got a good amount of time there. So again, hopefully that helps you. So back to you, Bobby.
Hey, the other thing, we're halfway through points for the trip. Okay, we got the first 3 months in, and we got July, August, September to go. Okay, so the one thing that I want you to keep in mind with the trip is we don't know the company's business. And what I mean by that is, they had to book 1,000 rooms or 2,000, whatever they had to book to lock up the resort for the week that they had to do it. They need to fill those rooms. Okay, they need, you got to pay up front, at least 50% up front when you do something like that. And after a certain number of months, you're prepaid, period. Okay, that's just how it works. And you got to keep in mind that we don't know their business, they know our business. So if we're 3 months in and they were expecting, let's just say, 100 people to already be on the trip, and they only have 30, Well, that's going to say we need to figure out some incentive to get more points faster. Okay. And, April and I were very involved on the inside in our first company. So we have a lot of insight into the inner runnings of a company besides doing what we do with building our business. And, our thing in our other company was cruises. Every year there was a cruise to a different part of the world, and you had to do a certain amount of business to get on the cruise. Here it's dream destinations, it's those kind of places with LifeVantage, but every company's got its thing. But you want to be in full motion if the company decides to do something really cool to pile up a bunch of points. Okay, you don't want to be at a standstill. Okay, you want to be moving. So just keep that in mind. We got 3 months to go, and I don't think there's 20 people that have made it yet. Okay, and they got to fill up at least 1,000. Common sense tells me that maybe they're going to need to figure out how people can get more points with promotions. Okay. And I don't know anything about anything when it comes to that, other than we've been doing this for 30 years. Okay. And business is business, folks. And, that's how it works. Okay. It's no different than, I don't know if you've ever seen the My Pillow commercials. You probably have, and the guy runs like 1 million commercials a day. It just never stops. And he stuck his fingers or hands into other things besides pillows, slippers and sheets and towels and other things. But he's known for pillows. And every other thing he stuck his hands into is now being incredibly discounted to clear it all out. And we bought a lot of it. We've bought his pillows, his sheets. Is how we bought it. But see, that's good business. If you decide to do something and then after 6 or 12 months, it didn't do what you were expecting, move out the inventory so you can put more of what you do sell on the shelves instead of other things. Well, it's no different when the company's doing a promotion or a trip or a special. Okay, you got to be ready for that. April and I are always ready for that. We're always ready. We have a call tomorrow. Don't be surprised if you get a text from us after that call because they drop something on us. Okay, tomorrow is the elite call. It's always the 5th or 6th of the month. Well, they call it executive call now because we're executives, but it was always an elite call. And we've learned to expect the unexpected. Okay, so keep in mind it's the summer, and also they just closed out their year. So they have brand new budgets now for a new year. Like they can probably spend a little loosely now, as to the end of the year, they probably had to, put a lid on things because they probably had already spent their budgets. Now it's a brand new year, brand new budgets. So you got to think a little bit like a business person and expect the unexpected. Okay. It's for me, it's what makes it fun. It's what makes it challenging. It's what makes it fun every day. Okay. You will never be in a business where crazier stuff happens than network marketing. Okay. Why network marketing? Well, we're dealing with people and people are crazy. We're all crazy to some degree. Okay. And people do crazy stuff and it's entertaining. It's fun. But it's crazy. Okay. So we're in the people business. We just happen to market an income opportunity and products, but we're really in the people business. That's the business that we're in. So be prepared, folks. Okay. I have a feeling the next 3 months, because of the trip and the San Antonio global event coming up, and Fred reminded me, if you're not registered, and most of you probably are, but if you're not, they did a flash sale on registering. Okay, they did a flash sale a couple days ago, and I think Fred said today is the last day. So they rolled the price back and made it cheaper for a few days, and I think that runs out today. A lot of us had bought bundles and got the tickets a little bit cheaper a few months back, but again, that is now starting to get closer. okay, that October meeting is starting to get closer. When they announced it, you know, and we were thinking about it in New Orleans in March, it seemed like it was really a long way away. Not so far away anymore, you know, so now we need to start looking at that as far as getting our teams and stuff plugged into that, because you don't want to get caught with unnecessary travel expense. Those are the tickets and things you want to buy in advance so you don't get stuck with last minute things. So, but April, you want to open it up and let's see what anybody, if anyone's got anything they want to share or questions. So you can unmute yourself if you have any questions based on April's training or anything we talked about tonight. Just unmute and have at it. Nobody? Like you have no concerns, questions, or anything? That's good. Man, can I start spending the money we're going to make in July? You guys are all on a hot streak. It's really, don't be shy, folks.
I have a question, but it doesn't relate to the training.
So long as it's business related, go ahead.
It is. I would like to send out thank yous like April taught us, but I don't know where to find my customers' addresses anymore.
In the detailed genealogy, you can get the addresses, and the easier place is to just click on their ID number and click on any one of their orders, and their address is right where their order shipped.
Great, thank you.
So either of those places you'll be able to find it, but I generally use the orders because it's easier to find the orders and their addresses are right there. That's normally what I do.
Good idea to do that, though. Good idea.
Yeah. It's amazing the response that people give you when they get a good old-fashioned paper thank you card. Okay. Everything is all digital, social media now and stuff. And when they get a card in the mail saying that they're appreciated or happy birthday or just thank you for being a loyal customer, whatever, it's amazing. You know what it does? It makes them reminisce back to, well, let's just say the good old days. Okay. It's, you know, we all have that era in our heads of when, you know, and everyone always thinks things were better way back when. Okay. You know, and our kids will think that about these times now, 30 years from now. Okay. They'll think that. So everybody just has fun, and in their mind, everything was always 100 times better than it actually was. The further away from it you get, the more grandiose it was. Okay. It's just our instincts, but, yeah, we're looking for, we actually have a class reunion coming up, high school class reunion in about 3 weeks. And we're looking forward to that one. That's going to be kind of shocking because I think we're at this point at the ages that we all are. I think you're going to see some people that still look like they're in high school. And I think you're going to see some people that maybe weren't as fortunate. You know, I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to be nice, but I think you're going to be all over the board. That's for sure. It's going to be all over the place. So who else has got? Catalina, unmute yourself.
Yes.
Tell me a little. I didn't see Kim. I know Kenneth was on. Tell me, was the race fun? That meeting, if I'm meeting Kenneth, doing that whole thing in Chicago, was that a good time?
Well, the race was later, actually. I mean, we
Oh, the
finished,
race was
a bit
later?
earlier.
Okay.
A bit later, yeah. But I think most of us were women, so I mean, it wasn't such a big deal. I don't know if Ken was disappointed that he didn't get to see it before he had to go to the airport, but it was really good. And yeah, we're talking about, maybe doing some, I think Facebook Lives, something educational for for people because we both love these products, right? And he can come from the trainer point of view, I can come from the point of view, and talk about how the definitely at least the collagen and the the protein and the vitamins, where they fall in everybody's prevention recipe, basically, because we all want to prevent stuff, right, from happening, and it's the best thing that we can do for ourselves.
You can never have too many events, folks, and there's no event too big and there's no event too small. I got a text earlier from one of our teammates, Louise Spiva, and she was telling me that her and Charlotte and a couple of their other teammates are doing something in California in a couple weeks. Okay, on I think it was the 21st or something, a sip and glow event where they're just, making it social and talking about collagen and maybe a little bit about the money. But, this business is all about events, and they could be virtual. They could be Facebook Lives. They could be in person. They could be 2 or 3 people. They could be 20 or 30 people. Okay. But events are so important in this business. And again, because of things like this, like Zoom, there's so many different ways we can get creative now with doing things. Like this is an event. Okay, you could always do a Zoom. Zoom is free. We pay because we need a bigger service and stuff, but Zoom has free accounts I think you can only do them for 20 or 30 minutes and then they cut you off. But that's the part of what I mean. Don't be afraid to be creative. And just because you ain't heard of something or you haven't done something or been a part of something, that doesn't mean it's not a good idea. That just means it hasn't been done yet, or you didn't happen to attend it. I would have never thought of doing a meeting right before or near a NASCAR race. Okay, that's not something that would have popped into my head, but it was a great idea. Okay, to do that. And any event is a good idea. And just because it hasn't been, we've done full hour-long trainings talking about niches, working your niche or developing a niche. And everybody has a niche. Everybody has something that they either really like, really love, or have special skills within. Okay, everybody. And I believe every niche is a gold mine in business. Okay, it's a gold mine, but it's got to be a niche where you're working with people who share a similar niche. Okay, and it was, look, for us, for me and April, dealing with doctors 20 years ago was a niche. It turned into $100 million worth of business, but for us, it was a niche. Why? Well, because we didn't know any doctors, but April was playing tennis and she was always either playing with one or the spouse of one. That's who was at the country clubs, doctors and their spouses. So we had to figure out how to deal with doctors, even though we weren't one, because April was exposed to them all the time because of tennis. That was how it happened. It wasn't because we thought doctors was a great idea, although it ended up being a great idea. It was because she was always playing tennis and they were always all around her. They either were doctors or were married to one. And that's how it started. She made me play tennis when I didn't play. I'm not going to tell that story tonight, but it's a funny one. I promise you it was funny. Anybody out there, you try playing a sport that you never played before against people that are competitive in that sport, you're really up against it. Okay. So, but anyone else? I don't want to keep you. I know some people are still on the holiday. Any other questions, thoughts, ideas, anything we may have missed? Everybody good? Hey, Kenneth, you're on my screen. I just saw you. Congrats, buddy. That triple diamond, that's That's a good number. Unmute yourself for a second, Kenneth.
Yes.
Hey, that's a big deal, man. That must have felt good. I know you were close last month too, but that's a good number, boy.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. It was great. It's fun, as I was saying up in Chicago, I mean, you can do the math, right? 12,000 and 30%. That's not bad. So
That's 3,600
nice.
by itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I just have to, since you made me unmute, I just want to congratulate Kim on putting together a phenomenal event. It had a lot of people coming. She had too much food. Thanks, April. No, but she had so much set up. Everything was so nice, and it's great location, quaint, and I think it was it was nice. It was very nice. So good job, Kim, and looking forward to doing and seeing a lot more of those. Right?
Very different than the meetings you've been doing with us for 10 years or so, right? Totally
for
different
sure.
venue, location, everything. But that's
good.
the
Fun.
whole point. Any meeting's a good meeting, any event is a good event. And however you decide to do it, virtually, live, in person, whatever it is, we're working on an event locally with the media campaign that we're doing, but we want to wait a month or 6 weeks so we get enough leads in to bring them to a live event. So don't be, and we haven't, we're winging it. So don't be afraid to do something that hasn't been done yet. Okay. Especially when everybody's outdoors during the summer. But I'll let you guys go tonight. We will be back on Sundays. Okay. But I appreciate you. I didn't see the point of Sunday night right smack in the middle of 4th of July weekend. It just didn't seem to make sense to do it Sunday. So I appreciate you all getting on on Wednesday instead. But you know how to reach us if you have any questions. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.